Alan here, 5 Minutes Recovery. I want to talk to you about something that I keep seeing over and over again. And every single time it breaks my heart. Someone gets sober, they're doing the work, they're showing up, they're excited, and then they get to step 4 and they vanish. They stop calling, they stop coming around. And most of the time, I don't hear from them again. And in my experience, most of them go back out, back to the drugs, back to the drinking, back to the life they were trying to escape. And I can't help but think, what if they had just done the work? What if they had just stayed? So today I want to talk about step 4, why it's so important, why people run from it, and why pushing through it might be the most important thing you ever do for yourself. Here's what step 4 actually is. It's a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. And I know that sounds scary. It's supposed to be honest. It's supposed to go deep. You look at your resentments, your fears, your patterns, the ways you've hurt people, the ways you've been hurt. And here's the thing nobody tells you. You also get to find your assets, your strengths, the good stuff that was buried under all the wreckage. Step 4 isn't just about what's wrong with you. It's about finding out who you actually are. But here's why people run. Because looking at yourself honestly, really honestly, is terrifying. Most of us spend years running from ourselves. That's part of why we used in the first place. We didn't want to feel. We didn't want to see. We didn't want to sit with who we had become. And now someone is handing us a packet and saying, write it all down. Look at all of it. And something inside says, I can't do this. I couldn't do it for a long time. I'm not ready. Maybe later. And later never comes. Here's what I've learned from taking guys through this process. The ones who disappear at step 4, they're not weak. They're scared. I was scared. And I understand that. It's a scary process, but here's what I wish I could say to every single one of them before they walk out that door. What are you running from? That's what exactly is going to set you free. The inventory isn't there to punish you. It's there to release you. Every resentment you write down loses some of its power over you. Every fear you name becomes smaller. Every character defect you identify becomes something you can actually ask to have removed. That's the miracle of this process. You don't have to carry it anymore, but you have to be willing to look at it first. Now I want to talk about step 3 for a second because I think that is where it actually starts. Step 3 is the decision to turn your will and your life over, to trust the process, to go all the way through. And in my experience, if someone doesn't really make that decision at step 3, step 4 becomes a wall instead of a door. Because without that decision, without that surrender, the inventory feels like an attack. But with that decision, it feels like a surgery. And nobody likes surgery. But you do it because you need to do it if you need the surgery, right? Because you know what's on the other side. Health, freedom, a life you couldn't have imagined. I've watched people do the work completely transformed. I've watched people who came in broken come out of their 4th step standing taller, breathing easier, seeing themselves clearly for maybe the first time in their lives. And not because their life suddenly got perfect, but because they finally put down the weight they had been carrying. That is what this step does. And I need you to hear this. If you're sitting on a step 4 right now, if you've had that packet for weeks or months, if you keep telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, please don't walk away. Call your sponsor. Sit down. Pick up the pen. It's really not as hard as we make it out to be. I made it so hard for so long. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to do it because the life you're praying for, the freedom you're desperate for, it's on the other side of this step, not around it, not under it, through it. And I know that you could do it. And if a guy like me, with everything I did, all the wreckage I created, could sit down and do it and come out the other side with more peace than I ever thought possible, then so can you. And always remember, I never want anybody to forget this. If a guy like me could get and stay sober a day at a time, there's no reason why anybody who watches my videos can't do the same. There's always hope. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.